even for the podcast like me and you, right? I get my Google form that gets straight into ChatGPT. The ChatGPT will receive the answers from my guest and it turns it into a script. That script then turns into an actual article that I can post on my blog, post recording. And all of that happens without me actually having to put the amount of hours that I used to.
Welcome to Top 3 Thursday, your essential guide to keeping up to date in a world brimming with endless events and innovations. Have you ever wondered what crucial information you're missing out on? What's happening in the shadows of the mainstream? Hosts Chris Starkey and Jeffrey Denman are here to keep you connected. In each episode, they ask guests to share at least 3 key insights from their experiences in the events industry. They delve into the realms of technology, creativity, and groundbreaking innovation, bringing you conversations with influencers who are rewriting the rules. Top 3 Thursday is more than just a podcast. It's your personal informant in an ever-changing world of events. So tune in and don't just keep up, stay ahead of the curve.
All right, Anca, thank you so much. After that introduction, I don't even know how to even talk to you because you're such a superstar in the event, specifically production business that is so daunting. So many people are scared to, first of all, not only with the AI, but also integrated also with the production side of that. People are scared to death to even put those two words together. And the fact that you have created a full brand around it, checked out your GPT AV, which was, in fact, I sent it to my internal IT guy to say, Anca is killing it. I would, in fact, we're in the process. Here's a really short story. So I started talking about AI, November 2022. I told my team, guys, you got to start doing this now. Roll it out. Let's move. And just now, in February of 2024, they're finally embracing it. An owner of a company, they never listened to me. I should have brought you, Anca, in a long time ago to be the influence of my business, because you drink the Kool-Aid. If you don't, or if you're not integrating right now AI into your world, you're just an idiot, right? And you make people around you look idiotic with your knowledge because you are crushing it right now. Am I right?
Well, Chris, first off, thank you so much for that introduction, which I am still to hear this. So we were kind of joking pre-recording. I'm like, I don't know what you said about me at this point. It could be anything. So I'll just roll with it. So you could have said I'm a unicorn or I'm not. I don't know. I'm just gonna take you on faith and believe that what you said was accurate. So now I'm just going to build on it. A couple of things actually from what you said. You know what? It's funny because first off, I have always been at the tip top of technology. This is just who I am. Like, I'm a very curious person. I come from a computer science background. I dived straight into AV, and there's a journey of radio productions and then coming to US because I was looking for opportunities for myself. But one thing what's funny about what you just said with your team just finally falling into, oh yeah, this is the thing. You know what? I have these conversations all the time with business owners, with my team, myself. I have conversations with clients, and those are close clients that trust me for a lot of other things. And then I hear them say, oh, all those things that you said like 9 months ago, 10 months ago, 15 months ago, actually, they're right. I'm like, really? Like, now you're getting it, So sometimes I feel like I am kind of like a few light years ahead. It's funny because I wrote a LinkedIn post about it. Sometimes when you leave so far into the future and you see the vision and you see where the future is taking you, it's hard to harness yourself back in and create relatable stories that people can see the benefit of what's going to happen into the future, but in a way that they can understand it in the now, right? Because a lot of the people be like, oh, yeah, that's great. Or, I go through conversations and it's like, oh, I'm all about AI stuff. I'm like, so what's the latest AI tool that you have used? And they're like, ChatGPT. I'm like, really? Yeah. Still there?
But the crazy thing I'll get is that majority of, at least my industry in the event industry, is really just at Copilot or ChatGPT and rolling that out. And that's why it's such a blessing for me to have someone like you on my podcast. You are the genie in the bottle.
You're going to start making me really turn all colors because I didn't set to be that. But again, my curiosity has put me on a path that has just taken me on this whole different sideway of my business, even though honestly, it's not really different from AV production. The reason why for me, AV production has been exciting is because it was always new. There's always things changes. There's always been things that you have to stay up to date. Otherwise, you're kind of turning into a dinosaur. So obviously when the AI revolution happened, it was like a no-brainer for me to just like straight dive into it and be like, Lizzie, what is this thing? I'm so excited about it. Now I had to figure out, okay, so how do I frame this now in a way that doesn't confuse the shit out of people when they go on my LinkedIn profile and they realize that I'm kind of like all over the place? I'm not really. Actually, there's 4 things that I care about. One is AV production. The other one is AI technology. There's also our audiences. I'm all about engaged audiences. How do you create that in our events, right? And then empowered behind the scenes and teams of planners and people that put on events. We have to look at their burnout rate. We have to look at their wellness. We have to look at the ways that in which we always set ourselves to create those amazing experiences for other people, but then we're the last ones to take care of. So all of those 4 things are exactly what I am about, and it plays into my own fitness and wellness journey, into my bodybuilding, into everything that I do. So then I'm like, I need to create a framework now. Like it has to be some kind of a container or framework so people get it, or like, that's what you are about. Because otherwise I'm like all about AV, all about AI, all about wellness, all about fitness, all about bodybuilding. Hold on, woman. Tell me what is happening. So that's where the Fit for Events framework came into play, where I can talk about AV production, futuristic AV production. Let's look at what the future brings in our AV technologies and then embed the AI tools that are just coming out. Oh my gosh, like just last week, so many things have happened in the field of AI. Sometimes it's kind of shocking to me when I listen to other AI speakers and presenters, and they still like use information from like last September. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Anca,
like just last week
Anca,
alone,
we're
it was
idiots.
crazy.
We're all idiots, okay? That's the problem.
It's not about that. I feel like it's just a matter of like sometimes, okay, let's give a down-to-earth example. Don't send me into this mega store like H&M or I don't know, Target to look for one black blazer because I get overwhelmed. There's way too many options. There are way too many aisles, way too many clothes. Like just send me to the one place where I can just pick up that blazer and then walk straight back out because there's way too much stuff, right? That's what I feel like the AI field is right now. It's so much and there's so many tools that at this point, you're like, okay, is it even worth it for me to dive into it because I feel overwhelmed just thinking about it or looking at it? I am preparing for a talk that's going to happen next week. And I always prepare my talks like 2 weeks prior. I never go more than that because I know that anything I will prepare in 2 weeks' time is going to be like irrelevant. So as I'm going over the newest things that have happened just in the last month alone, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go to drink some Kool-Aid myself because this is a lot. Like, how am I going to encapsulate this in a way that people are not going to get overwhelmed?
Right. Okay, it's just representing what business is right now as well. Everything is shifting. It used to be everything would shift every 3 to 5 years, then every 3 to 5 months, and now it's every 3 to 5 weeks. It really is shifting. And that's why you are so essential to talk to about how the world, specifically in our industry, in the event industry, is changing. And not only in the event industry, in any business. So I want to get down to brass tacks and really tap into your brain on this, okay? So the question is, Anca, okay, for our top 3 Thursday is what we didn't know yesterday, we absolutely need to know today in order to take our business to the next level. Let's start with maybe the third thing you could tell me. We'll ramp it up to number 1, okay? So the number 3 thing you could tell me would be what?
All right. So are we talking about business or are we talking about events? Because I think we both come from a business side point or also from an event side point, right? Because I'm thinking one of the things that I feel like the most valuable things that have happened in events is how our tools, the tools that we have now, AI tools, are providing us the ability to personalize that attendee experience to the next level. Like we can analyze attendee data. We can personalize their experience based on exactly what is going on. We can take content recommendations and customize it to the networking opportunities. We can leverage AI. We can take all of that surveys that used to be, let's find out, what has been the attendee satisfaction. Now we have real data to dive into, and we have tools to analyze that data. I feel like a lot of data was collected over the years in events, but it wasn't necessarily done anything with, right? So one of the easiest way to do is, if you're still a level ChatGPT, use that to analyze your spreadsheet. Before ChatGPT actually was able to just import a bunch of PDFs and documents, I used to import all my spreadsheets from my Google Analytics. I would just copy and paste a lot of data just to make sense to me. Okay, translate this in a way where I can actually understand how to use this for my benefit, for my website benefit. Take the same thing with your surveys, with everything that you have that's coming in some kind of a data format. Now you have an assistant and an AI sidekick that can analyze that and give you some really deep dive introspection into how you can do this better. Obviously, we have PCMA Spark, which has been one of the tools that was introduced just at PCMA's convenient leaders. And now people, they're like a little bit more like, it was introduced at convenience leader. It must be a really cool thing. Yeah, it's been around for a little while. Now you can actually use it, because it's in your advantage to really use the features that it has, like predictive analytics, again, personalized content recommendations. And it really helps the event organizer to tailor the experiences to the attendees. And then if you're a C-event person, you can use their event solutions. They have a suite now, including analytics. I was talking to an event planner about Einstein embedded in C-event, and they're like, I don't understand how that works. I'm like, well, you don't have to. You can ask ChatGPT to teach you how to do it. If you don't know how to do something, literally now you can ask your assistant to teach you how to do things. So that shouldn't be hard. And then obviously we have all the for me, analytics, I think that would have been probably my second career if I ever had another take at this. But analytics, especially predictive analytics when it comes to event planning, it's so important in predicting behavior, in optimizing logistics, in anticipating potential challenges before they even arise. So when you have all these AI tools that you can harness, there's a lot of insight that you can glean from all of this, and then make data-driven decisions that you can really streamline your events, your execution, and your overall event success. And yes, we had Google Analytics, and now it's just taken into the next phase of what more you can do with it. And we had HubSpot, which now it has this AI-powered marketing automated abilities. And then there's another tool that I just started using recently. It's called Apollo AI, which is basically kind of like a comprehensive sales intelligence platform that can offer predictive analytics solutions for events, but also reading your subscribers, say, or your attendees or your customers, historical performance. It can predict what the engagement levels are. It can identify high value prospects and optimize your event outreach so that you can create strategies that really drive the attendance. Because at the end of the day, what are the events without attendees, right? So that's one of the main things and then you're in media like me, right? So repurposing event content.
It's huge.
I don't know if you've done this before.
I'm a Cast Magic guy. So even this one right now, I'm popping this bad boy into Cast Magic for a whole bunch of blogs that I'm going to churn out. But Anca, you said something.
Well, there's also repurpose IO.
Well, no, you said something that's extremely relevant to a CEO of a company. I interviewed the CEO of Remax International, Nick Bailey, a couple weeks ago, and he has 10,000 attendees that join in Las Vegas every January, every February. And basically, I asked him the question, how do you determine where your ROI is? And I hate using the word ROI. There's lots of ways to use ROI, but how do you determine that when you're having a conference? If you're a business, be it in the event world or outside the event, a digital marketing company, whatever it is, and you can provide the analytics to a CEO, CMO, COO, CFO, and show them this is why you do this based on the analytics that this conference presented that would have taken weeks, maybe months to generate, that can be done in a matter of seconds if you have the right information to put into whatever AI tool that you have, correct?
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of information, actually a lot of posts right now. It's funny because I follow a lot of event professionals and thought leaders in the event space, obviously. And everybody is like talking about the value of an event planner to a CEO, right? It's like, how do you showcase your value so that you are being listened to when propose different changes to or different strategies or all of that. So it ties back into what you just said, into ROI, into analytics, into actually having now data to provide to your CEO, to your event marketing strategist or whomever you respond to, so that it's not just you saying things, it's actually data that talks, right? So without that, you're just kind of providing recommendations, but there is no knowing if they work.
I want the
or they don't,
profitability.
right? But now you're like, I can show you, exactly, I can show you how this will help because it's all in the numbers. And as far as I know, numbers don't lie.
Transform your media or event-driven business with Mojo Makers, where we specialize in scaling your venture effectively. Eliminate the 80% of distractions holding you back and get hyper-focused toward a 10 times growth strategy. Our future filter approach cuts through the noise, keeping your business on track for record numbers. Contact Mojo Makers today and start your journey toward unparalleled business achievements. Find out more at www.mojomakers.net.
You just said a mouthful there, and we're on just number 3, okay? So it's analytics. What I didn't know yesterday, this is what I need to know today, that the analytics that AI can provide for us that can showcase not only an event-oriented business, but just any general business is worth its weight in gold. Okay, perfect. I love that. Okay, number 2.
Yeah, and then the second one, we talked about personalization. Personalization is so important. Is the way to go because it's all about how we can make that event speak to this one person so much so that they feel like they're seen, like they feel that like they belong. How many times have you gone to events where you just felt like you're a face in a crowd? And it doesn't feel good. Like it's not the type of events I want to engage with, not the type of events I want to go to. I feel like it's a waste of my time. And then considering how expensive events are to attend and how much time you take out of your family, your personal life, your business, is it worth to just go to be there, a face on a map? I don't think so. So if you are able to take this event and personalize it with your content, with your AV production, with your AI tools that you have, how much more am I going to pay that, whatever, how much it is? I'm going to be going to South by Southwest because I'm one of their speakers. But if I wasn't a speaker, I don't know if I afforded to go because it's a really high price conference. It's a great experience. It's got so many activations, so many things going on. But it's just another way where you're going to make a decision based on, okay, what is my gain based on how much I'm putting out, right? So with that, have you been at the Sphere?
I have been at the Sphere. Yep, we have an office in Las Vegas.
In
Absolutely.
Vegas?
Yep.
Okay, so have you experienced just the sound system alone? How they have those modular...
I'm a YouTube monster. I'm a YouTube monster.
But it's more than just that. You can actually be translated to your own language just by sitting next to this person that might be speaking Spanish or Romanian or whatever, which part of the world you might be in. And I hear things coming to me in either Romanian or you hear things coming to you in English and the next person over, they hear it in Spanish or Chinese. Now, that is personalization.
And I love, say that word one more time, Anca. Just say it one more time. It's because you didn't say personalization. Say it the way that you say it. I love the way you say it.
No, I say personalization. I say it the way I say it.
I love it.
Because again, I come from like a heritage of Latin languages.
Absolutely love it. Okay, so
and
that is really key in terms of the personalization of how AI. Now, if I wanted to personalize it, because you're saying a lot of amazing things, but your brain is working about 150 miles an hour. So for a layman who is still finally introduced to Gemini or ChatGPT, not even 4, Copilot,
or the biggest, greatest thing right now, which is Grok, because it's a completely different LPU.
I've used Grok. I've used Grok a ton, absolutely. But when I talk about, I do
love it, right?
Yes.
So fast.
But when I use like Midjourney or DALL-E 3, people are just looking at me like, what are you talking about? So can a planner or a business executive without you integrate some kind of tool to personalize an experience? Or is it just so technical that no matter, I mean, I know the AI assistant can help you, can potentially teach you.
I don't think so. I think knowing especially as an event planner, if you especially have an array of events that you have planned, you have some history, you really, really know your audience, and then you can rely on that information to feed even a ChatGPT language model into giving you some ways in which you can do that for your next event, right? So you can incorporate that in a way that it doesn't have to be extra technical. Now, of course, you can use technology to supplement some of the ability. Like think about, say, Smart Meetings just had one of their events this week, and somebody sent me a video of their drone show that it was personalized for the attendees of this event, right? So I had different words in the sky, and obviously it had the branding and had all those things, right? So that is taking technology, and it is taking, a budget to be able to fulfill that, right? Because you don't just go buy drones at a supermarket that happen to be in sync and produce all these lighting shows, right? But there's little other things that you can still do and incorporate that type of personalization into your event without having to break the bank. Yes, a lot of technology, it will require one point, a budget. It will require something that it has to be a line item that right there on your budget line says, this is how we're going to enhance the audience experience because we're bringing in additional elements which before we didn't, right? So you have to make room for that. Now, how can you do that on a budget? There's still ways, but in most cases, if you're going to take it into the next level, it might take some budget that you haven't accounted for before. So you're going to have to figure out a sponsor. You're going to have to figure ways in which you incorporate that into your event overall.
Understood. Okay, so there we had it. So analytics, number 3, personalization, number 2, the number one thing that we need to know today that we didn't yesterday. Anca, give it to me. What is it?
It's not as groundbreaking as you might think because, again, like I said, I have alluded to it. Content repurposing, it's something that it wasn't necessarily so much of a thing before COVID. How many times did you go to an event and you walked away with, say, the video recording, or you walked away with snippets and reels and podcast episodes and articles built upon that, and LinkedIn post and all of that, right? It was most likely in the moment, a lot of tweeting that was happening from the ground floor for maybe it was this excellent speaker and everybody was tweeting about what they just said. That was about the extent of like maybe somebody would write a article post-event, but everything was, 3 weeks later, I get the article and now I have to remember, what was that? That was the thing about that we actually learned, right? Now everything is so instant. Like you just said, you're going to take this and you're going to run it through a few tools. Like my favorite ones are Repurpose.io. I do a lot of this script. I take it into HeyGen and Synthesia. And yes, I use AI avatars and I take it into Pictorai AI and Swell AI, and everything is just gets generated. And I have my transcripts and I have my articles and I have my LinkedIn posts and I have my Instagram or social media, all of that. And then I have also, even for the podcast, like me and you, right, as we're having this conversation, I get my Google form that gets straight into ChatGPT. The ChatGPT will receive the answers from my guest and it turns it into a script. That script then turns into an actual article that I can post on my blog, post recording. And all of that happens without me actually having to put the amount of hours that I used to. Because I used to edit those video episodes of my podcast, my own podcast, and then the ones of my clients, and just spend hours upon hours. You take that into the script right now, you have automatic filler word removal, which used to take so much time. Because if you have 200 filler words to remove, that takes a lot of cuts, okay? So all of that is so easy to just do nowadays. You have no excuses.
You are probably one of the most intimidating people I've ever met because, again, as I referenced earlier on in the beginning of this podcast, not only are you a production expert, which in itself is extremely intimidating to most people who don't know a lot about production, but the AI jargon that you just spewed out for the past 25 minutes and combining those two make you brilliant.
I would hope I speak in layman's terms. I try really hard
you didn't, Anca.
to speak in layman's terms.
You didn't. No. What you did just now is it made me, as an owner of a company, I'm all about right now a book that I just I'm engaging in that 10x is easier than 2x. I don't know if you read it by Dan Sullivan, okay? And basically everything that you just referenced, it's not about the how, it's about the who. So with so many moving parts all the time, incorporating someone like yourself, a who can show me the path to the impossible, to 10x where I am right now, to where my business could go, and utilizing someone like yourself from an efficiency standpoint, from tools that are changing on a weekly basis for you to be that internal expert that can show so many efficiencies, profitability, is just worth its weight. I said it earlier, is worth its weight in gold. So congratulations on that. And to top it off, Anca, you are also a bodybuilder. That's a three sucker punch in the gut right there. Between the production, the AI, and the bodybuilding.
That's my survival mechanism. I have to have my session in the gym before I get started on my day, because as a business owner, you can relate to how many things there are to do, right? Even with all the productivity tools that we have now and all the savings that we have. Obviously, for me, what AI has done is actually save me those 2 hours that I can now allocate to my fitness so I can compete. Actually, I have a show coming out in 18 days. I don't know exactly when this episode will come out, but my show will be March 16th. So I'm really pushing hard for that, which means I'm like, pedal to the metal. Is that what the saying is? 'Cause I'm really going to butcher it. But basically, that's where I'm at. But I'm also hardcore in everything else that I do. Just because I have this thing going on personally, which is my fitness journey, doesn't mean that everything else is just going to wait and be on the wayside waiting for me to be doing this. No, everything goes 100% all the time. So that's also what gives me that mental capacity. I go into the gym, I do all the squats and all these lifts, and my brain keeps working. I get a lot of creative ideas. I get a lot of business ideas, so much stuff because I create the white space where my mind can be working on its own while my body is putting in the effort and the work, right? So to me, that has been a saving grace. That has been like a mechanism of like survival when I have so many rods in the fire, so I can keep it all together. Because it's true, like I am a high capacity person, but I also have to keep things together like myself, right? So that's one way in which I figure out, okay, that's how it works. This works for me and I'm going to stick with it because I also enjoy to be looking good. If I reverse aging after 40, sign me up. If my heart rate is like in 50s in my heart, like resting heart rate, because I am so highly conditioned, then I am so good. But I want others to do that. I want others to experience that. So that's why when I talk about it, I'm like, I'm not just saying this for myself. Like, guys, there's a lot here. Can you hear me out? There's really a lot of benefits. And it just means that you're investing into your future self. It's kind of like your investment fund, your retirement fund into your health. Without putting in the time now and the effort to eat healthy, to take care about your well-being, don't expect 20 years from now to be like functioning like at the same
Nope, you're right,
capacity.
Anca. I'm part of the 5 a.m. club. I'm up every morning at 5 hitting that gym. I box on Saturdays. I play racquetball on Sundays. I'm killing myself.
But I feel like it needs more examples like this need to be spoken out loud more often, because the most common excuse you hear, especially from business owners and event planners, we don't have the time. Really? Like how many hours did you spend watching Netflix last week? Let's just go there.
You hit the nail right on the head, Anca.
I am up at 5 a.m. the same way, and I'm doing my cardio, and then I get my kids to school, and then I'm going to the gym, and then I start my business, and I work sometimes until 10 p.m., and I start all over again. I make it work. I can't tell you when was the last time actually I watched a full show on Netflix, unless it was the weekend or like it was a family
What time do you go to bed, Anca?
Which is great. It's okay to have that. I try to get my sleep in. I think one of the things that I needed to improve in my well-being has been my sleep. Right? So there's people that can function on 5 hours of sleep. And I have been fine with that, but it has impacted my training to the point where I wasn't making progress. So then I had to dial back into my, 7 hours where I can see progress in my fitness journey. And sleep was kind of like the key element for me. And it's so important for a lot of people to see that. Like sometimes you're like, I do all of those things, but I don't lose weight at all. Well, maybe because you don't sleep enough, because you don't give your body time to actually regenerate. It doesn't have the time to do all the things that it needs to. And for me, sleep has been the key element to actually be able to keep on building and have that restoration so that my muscle can keep growing without me like driving myself into the ground, because I can drive myself into the ground.
Of course. So Anca, do you take an energy drink every morning as well, or do you just...
I don't. I skip my coffee today. So right now, like literally, I'm just drinking Celsius feed. Yeah, because I usually just drink a coffee around midday.
But nothing in the morning.
I only drink 2 cups of coffees. No, I do. My morning is usually because of my run. And in the morning on my treadmill, like that's kind of my coffee.
My employees make fun of me because I'm an energy drink guy and I drink these things called Total War. It's like crazy caffeines.
I cannot do that.
Bang. You know, I'm all about it. But about 4 o'clock, I'm a walking zombie for sure. So I got to get some sleep. I got to take a nap, and then I go for another 4 or 5 hours.
That's good.
Right?
30 minutes of actual sleep can really rejuvenate too. And sometimes there's days when, you know, if I run hard and I had a lot of mental capacity going, and over time, I would take a 30 minutes nap. But that's enough. Not more than 30, because then you just go into like slumber mode and you're like, okay, now I should just sleep through.
You are a monster. Anca, I know you're a professional speaker and extremely relevant right now with what's going on in the world. Do you also consult? I know you do the event side, but you also consult businesses based on new AI strategies to increase efficiencies and profitability.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you asked, because actually I have a big side of my business is AI consultancy. And I have a couple of workshops that I put on monthly boot camps. I call them boot camps. And they go on 2 types of boot camps. One is for small business owners. And my focus has been actually small business owners, but also women in business.
I love that, because it's the month of the woman. It's coming up.
It is. It's great. That's one way in which I empower women. And I have been on a mission. Like, you know, I have a community called Women Behind the Scenes in Events and Event Production. So that has been one community that I've been growing and nurturing and just creating opportunities for women, because I feel like when I first started in event production, I didn't have opportunities. I needed to go and find them myself. And there's a lot of new people coming into this field, and there's a lot of women coming into the field, and they feel like lost. So having mentors, having someone to be able to guide them, having someone to create opportunities for them is very important. So that's one way I consult for AI. I also consult for businesses, small business, as I said, but also for events. So like you know, an event planner, event organizer that you want to incorporate some of the AI tools that are available. That's another way where, you know, you can just reach out to me. And I have information on my website. So just hit up my website or connect with me on LinkedIn.
Because after this, I already team all about you and want to figure out a way to integrate you from training purposes, maybe even the workshop, whatever that is. Because again, I drink your Kool-Aid. I'm going to say it for the 3rd time, right?
You drink the Monsters. I drink the Celsius.
That's right. You got it. So I cannot be more grateful. Everything that you said, your time is extremely valuable. Congratulations on just being the master of so much, you know, and intimidating every person in your way. It's amazing to watch, including myself. I don't get intimidated easily, but I firmly believe that I'm the greater sum of the 5 people that I surround myself with. If I started surrounding myself with someone like you, I would take my business to a 10x level in a heartbeat. So please keep on.
I love your energy, Chris. I love your energy. I'll probably kick your ass, but I love the energy.
I love that. You are the best. Anca Trifan, we posted all of your information on our pages. You got to engage with this amazing professional who can teach you everything there is to know about the new tools with AI, specifically integrated also into the event world. You are the best. I could not thank you enough and for your time and your energy. And I got to check out the bodybuilding though, because I want to see some exercise that I can incorporate into my own routine. So I'll be watching for those, right?
I have them all on, actually, it's funny problem. I'm the only LinkedIn professional that also posts pictures of herself in bikini.
Whoa, yes.
They are on my Fit Mindful Mavens. I have a LinkedIn page that's dedicated to that for event professionals, more encouraging and literally motivating people to get into it. And then you can see some of my, routine and exercises on that. But thank you so much, Chris. It's been a great pleasure. It's been really fun, connecting with you and having this conversation, and forward to this introduction of yours.
Anca, we should go on the road. Next time you speak, if you need a comic sidekick or something like that, you would look me up, okay?
Totally. We're going to get looped. Stay looped.
That's right, girlfriend. That's right. Anca, you are the best. And check her out. Go to all of her sites. Hire this person to change your world. Thank you, Anca.
Thank you.
That's all for this episode of Top 3 Thursday, brought to you by Chris Starkey and Jeffrey Denman. Remember, staying informed is the key to staying on top of things. You can find links to any resources mentioned in the show notes. And be sure to join us next time for more insights and stories that keep you connected to the pulse of change.